Hello everyone, we're back. And now it's time to do step number 2 of our gesture drawing. Hopefully you are more comfortable drawing people and understanding how joints do what's called articulating, otherwise known as moving. Now we are going to add the, quote, meat on the bones. Meat is just muscle. So one of the things I want to point out before we begin the process of doing this is, first of all, you have to have that armature or that advanced stick figure before you add that second step of the muscle structure. The other thing I want to point out is when we look at the top of each of the sections of the body, I want you to notice that it's wider at the top. So it's bigger at the top here and gets skinnier at the bottom towards the elbow. Wider again at the end, at that joint, skinnier at the top of the joint. So it's wider at the bottom of the joint, skinnier at the top. Wider at the bottom of the joint, skinnier at the top. Wider at the bottom of the joint, skinnier at the top. So, and I mean the top of the actual joint, but on the actual body part, it's wider on the actual top of the body part and gets skinnier as it goes down. So depending on how your brain works. Bigger up here, smaller down there. The other thing I want to point out is that the joint connects to the muscle structure. It's all connected. So if you just wind up having it not connected, your person is going to look kind of funny when they do this. And the whole idea of this is to understand how the body moves and what it looks like to be more successful when drawing a person. So coming over to this paper, you're literally going to do step number 2 right on top of step number 1. So step 1, I did in black. Step number 2, I'm going to do in red so that you can follow. And then step number 3, I will do, and I think I have a blue around here somewhere. Oh, I have purple. We'll do purple. Okay, so anyway, let's begin. Your necks are thick and wide because they have to support your head. Shoulders come out from behind the head. You've got a rib cage, so your whole rib cage is in this section. That is literally your ribs, and then your heart's back here, and your lungs are under there. You can't make your person too skinny. You can't have them go in like this and come back out. Otherwise, their ribs would be crushed. Come in and go back out for the hips. Come in and go back out for the hips. Remember, you have ribs. Make the ribs. The wider the head, the wider the shoulders. Think about that in your person as well. Your legs touch in the middle. Hips, most of the time, if you feel it, you can feel your hip bone right here on the outside edge. So it's very, very close when you're drawing the hips to the actual joint. Keep it close. In the middle, your legs will join together. And it's wider at the top and smaller at the bottom, just like we talked about here. If you don't want to make your person's hips that wide or thighs that wide, connect it together in the middle with a line going straight across. Then we join it to that joint. Angles out wider at the top for your bone, or not for your bone, for your muscles, for your calf muscle, and then becomes thinner at the ankle. Wider at the top, thinner at the ankle. If you're like Miss Barnelli, that person is so wide, bring it in a little bit, but remember they still have muscles. Now, we don't bring it all the way up to the elbow though. I'll put it a little bit high on this person. Don't bring it up all the way to the elbows because you have an underarm. Make it wider over here. You can feel your shoulder joint right on the top of your shoulder. Make it very close to that. Skinnier at the elbow, wider at the forearm, skinnier at the wrist. Your shoulder curves around. You actually have a muscle there. Curves around here. Wider at the top, thinner once you get to the elbow. Wider, thinner. That is step number 2. It will take some practice. Trust me. Don't feel like you should just know how to do it. Now finally, step number 3. Step 3 is just the position of the head. So when you draw a plus sign in the face, you're representing where the nose and the mouth would be. And when you draw the line going horizontally across, you're representing where the eyes would go if you were creating those details. You don't need to create those details, but by putting that line on the face, you're representing where that person is looking. So just think about that in your picture as you do it. So again, wider at the top of a joint, thinner at the bottom. On the outside edges of joints, including your shoulder and your hip, keep it very close. Otherwise, your person will look very, very wide. If your person looks extremely wide at the shoulder, think about re-measuring your person's head and making sure it's actually the right size. So my person's a little bit wider on the side than I should have made them. Pay attention to your proportions and have fun.